This is a lock miter joint. It's one of the strongest and cleanest joints that you can make in woodworking, but almost nobody uses it because it's such a pain to set up. Until now. Let's go. What I'm about to show you is a joinery method that used to take 20 or 30 minutes to set up and multiple passes to get it dialed in exactly right. Now we can set this up dead accurate the first time in just a couple minutes. And once you see how this works, you're gonna wonder, why hadn't somebody done this before? Before we get started, I'd like to thank Microjig for sending this over for me to check out. And if you'd like to check out this or anything else you see in the video today, I'm going to link those in the description in the pinned comment. Of course, my TV viewers, scan that QR code with your phone, takes you right to my website, or you can click the View Products button here on YouTube if it's available there. Otherwise, check those links in the description. Now, let me show you how easy this is. Now, Microjig's been around for over 25 years now. It's kind of hard to believe. They developed one of the safest and greatest push blocks known to mankind, but they didn't just stop innovating there. What I'm about to show you could literally change how you do wood joinery in your shop forever because it's so easy. Now, if you find this interesting, I'm gonna have a 10% off code for you later in the video, so stay tuned. Now let's back up just a little bit before I show you how this works. Now, if you don't know what a lock miter joint is, it's a 45-degree joint that locks together. You might see these on columns, posts, cabinet boxes, and a whole host of other things. And one of the great things about this miter joint is the fact that it's hidden. You don't really see that locking mechanism in there that you've created, but it's an extremely strong joint because it locks together, hence lock miter joint. And it has a massive amount of glue surface that's able to accept the glue. The problem has always been setup with this joint because the lock miter bit has to be exactly half the thickness of your material. Not a 64th off, not a little bit off. It has to be dead exact or it's not going to look right. And the way most people set this cut up on the bit is to set that bit as close to half as possible and then make a bunch of test runs and dial it in from there. That wastes a lot of valuable lumber. And that's one of the main reasons a lot of woodworkers avoid this joint. But I'm going to show you how easy it is. Even a beginner can make this joint extremely easy and not even intimidated by it because it just works. Now to make the system work, there's a couple of pieces that you're going to need. First, the fit finder. Now Microjig come out with this fit finder a couple of years ago. I showed it on the channel. I've also talked to them at trade shows about it. It's a really nice jig for woodworking because it will change the way you do a lot of things. It will do a lot more than just that lock miter joint. For instance, it will find the halfway point of any piece of stock. So if you are doing half laps or anything like that, this will help you find that extremely easy. And then that front point, the P3, will let you set bit heights and blade heights to the exact half depth of that piece of stock. So you can get perfectly accurate half laps or just halfway cuts of the material. This is also great for finding the center point of dials or any round stock, especially if you're on a lathe or something like that. You can use it for that purpose. You can also use this to set blade distances exactly halfway. So if you're wanting to, say, use the bandsaw to resaw a piece of lumber exactly halfway in between, this will help you do that. Now this is where things get extremely interesting because Microjig didn't just sit on their laurels and just say, hey, this is a great jig, we'll leave it at that. Nope. They come out with a lock miter bit that has a special feature on it that lets you dial in the perfect halfway point of your stock every single time using this fit finder. First and foremost, if you're going to make this joint, you're going to want to have two pieces of stock that are exactly the same thickness. So what I did was take a piece of maple and a piece of walnut and run them through the planer until I've got two pieces that are exactly the same thickness. From there, you'll just cut them to size however you want. I'm gonna go 3 inches wide on mine. And then the length is whatever you want it to be because this lock miter can be various lengths. It can be a whole column if you so chose. You can make lamps out of it, all kinds of good stuff. Once you have everything cut to size, you're going to set up the lock miter bit. Now you want to dimension this first because when you lay this down flat, you want to take the fit finder and use that P2 leg to set right on top of the stock. Then lock that in place with the thumb screws on back. That point on P3 is now the halfway point. So that's where you're going to set this lock miter bit. Now the lock miter bit has a little shelf. I think they call it the silver shelf. It's just a silver shelf there that you're going to just dial in that router bit. You're going to move it up or down until it gets exactly perfect with that little finder there. Once that's in place, if your router lift is like mine has this locking screw that you want to tighten down so it doesn't move on you, you want to make sure to set that because you do not want this moving after you get it set. Now all you have to do is set the fence distance at the perfect spot for this bit. It's very simple. All you do, take the same thickness piece of stock that you're going to work with, lay it against your fence, take a ruler. I'm going to use about a 1/16 of an inch thick ruler. It's a very thin ruler. The thinner the better here, but you do want it to be solid, not flopping or anything like that. And you're just going to move the fence until the edge of that ruler contacts the edge of that bit, the 45-degree angle. Once it's done, lock your router fence down. Now, if yours does like mine, it moves a little if you don't get it just snug, so I made sure to snug mine up real good before we start the cut. If you have a sacrificial fence on your router table, it will help if you move those in slightly just to help prevent tear out. Now, to adjust the speed up on my router just a little bit. I was going a little bit slow on the first pass, and it was kind of bogging a little more than I liked, so I did dial it up about half the speed that this Bosch router is capable of. It's not all the way maxed out. It's also not all the way at the bottom. It's about half. Now, in making the first cut, I thought I was going to be a little bit intimidated because this is a fairly substantial bit that's spinning there. So you want to make sure that you have a really good push block. I found that this micro jig push block that I have here is probably one of the better ones to use in this application because it has this 90-degree wide part on it that if you, especially on the vertical cuts, you're going to want that extra stability. But mainly on the back, it has these nice little push feet, and of course the bottom is grippy. So it's going to keep everything nice and snug. And that's one of the keys to getting this cut right. You want to make sure you're putting enough pressure down toward the table as well as against the fence to get this to cut. You don't want the piece moving, jumping up, or anything like that to get that accuracy that you're looking for. So make sure you got a good firm hold on your piece when you're pushing it through. Now, when you make the first cut, I went with just a flat cut. So I'm going to lay this piece flat on the surface of my router table and push it through. From there, I want to flip this around and just make another pass on the other side, both of them horizontal to the table. The second piece that's going to come in at an angle has to go vertically against the fence. And again, that's where this push block will come in handy. You're going to push that against the fence and then try to hold some pressure down on top as well. Do it safely and then move that cut vertically through the bit. And then of course on the second side, just flip it over and go all the way back through. Now this cut might intimidate some just because of the nature or the orientation of that board. But if you have good solid contact with a push block, whatever you choose to use, and you got enough pressure going down and against the fence, it felt safe, and it really does. And the router table, if I'm being honest, is one of those machines that still intimidates me a little bit, even almost 10 years into this. So I felt very comfortable making these cuts. Now this is insane. On the first pass, the horizontal pass, the vertical pass, you take those two pieces and put them together and they fit exactly like they're supposed to. Just genius. Now, you might see a little bit of a gap underneath those two center pieces that connected. That's on purpose, and we'll talk about why in just a few minutes. What's crazy is the setup on this takes less than 5 minutes. Once you do it a time or two, it's probably going to take less than 2 minutes. It's very quick. And that's what makes this so genius is the fact that this used to take a long time with a lot of passes, and now we can do it instantly. Now when you put your Boss Dog glue on this, you're going to see that those holes or those little gaps underneath that center part is there for a reason. That's a glue well. If it was going all the way down and making contact, there would be no place for the glue to go. So on a longer glue up, it would be very difficult to get all of this mashed together. So what that does is just gives the glue a place to run out. You've still got all those points of contact across that miter that's still getting glue. You also still have that locking part that's still locking everything together, but that gives a place for that glue to escape, so it makes the glue up a lot easier. So this bit is actually rated between 1/2 and 3/4. So 1/2 inch, 5/8 inch, 3/4 inch stock, which basically covers plywoods, hardwoods, anything you're gonna wanna use with this bit. Now this is a joint that you can use making columns. There's a lamp example here that you see. You can also use this on plywood corners. So if you're building a cabinet and you got two corners coming together and you don't want that plywood edge exposed, you can use a lock miter joint to mask that. But Microjig didn't even stop there. They actually have an upgrade kit available for this fit finder that makes it even more useful. Now this is called the P4 adapter kit. It clips to the fit finder and adds 4 precision tips that let you do things like center drill bits, align the bandsaw blade for resawing, mark center lines directly on dowel stock, and set the underside of router bits for slot cutting. For years, people avoided the lock miter joint because of how time consuming it is to set up. It's a little finicky. You don't want to fool that. You're ready to just get things done. This takes all of that away. Now, Microjig hooked my viewers up exclusively with a 10% off discount code on this fit finder and lock miter bit. If you'd like to check it out, I'll put that code in the description and the pinned comment right beside their link so you can go check it out for yourself. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out and I appreciate it. Otherwise, click that box right there. Look how I made this workbench top where I can clamp anything down. Clicking that box gets you the big old virtual fist bump.